Imagine a nation, once echoing with a chance of revolution, now on the brink of chaos. And from this abyss, rises a figure who would not only pull it from the precipice but shape the course of history. Enter Napoleon Bonaparte, the first consul. In the aftermath of the French Revolution, a tide of uncertainty and instability threatened to engulf France. Revolutionary fervor had replaced the monarchy, but what followed was not the idyllic age of freedom the people had dreamt of. The streets murmured with doubt, and the haunting memory of the guillotine's blade lingered. But as the old saying goes, it's always darkest before the dawn. From this turmoil emerged a figure, resolute and visionary, Napoleon Bonaparte. As first consul, he was determined to halt the chaos and lead the nation toward a brighter future. This is his story, of how he ended the revolutionary upheaval, consolidated his power, and initiated legal reforms that would shape not just France but the world. In the closing years of the 18th century, France found itself torn by revolutionary chaos. The promise of liberty, equality, and fraternity had devolved into internal strife, and the once proud nation was crumbling under the weight of its own ambitions. The guillotine's blade had silenced many voices, and the terror that had replaced the old order seemed relentless and all-consuming. It was during these turbulent times that a figure emerged, ready to transform France's destiny, Napoleon Bonaparte, who assumed the role of first consul in 1799. His arrival heralded an era of stability and reform, as he worked tirelessly to restore order to a nation teetering on the brink. As the dawn of the 19th century approached, France was a nation haunted by the shadows of its recent past. The streets that once echoed with revolutionary anthems now whispered with uncertainty and fear. The very revolution that promised a new dawn for France seemed to be plunging it into an endless night of chaos. Napoleon Bonaparte's ascent as first consul came at this pivotal juncture. With the revolution's fiery spirit still burning but directionless, Napoleon embodied the hope for a resurgence. His commitment to ending the revolutionary turmoil was not merely a political strategy. It was a clarion call to rejuvenate the nation's spirit. With an innate military genius, Napoleon was no stranger to battlefield victories. But as first consul, his battles extended beyond the tangible front lines. The political landscape of France was treacherous, marked by factions, vested interests, and revolutionary ideals that often conflicted. Here, Napoleon displayed an uncanny ability to navigate this intricate web. His unflinching determination allowed him to quash internal dissent, ensuring that opponents, whether they bore arms or ideologies contrary to his vision, were sidelined or assimilated. However, Napoleon's insights went more profound than most. He realized that the root of France's problems was not just political, but also psychological and social. The French Revolution had not only overthrown a monarchy but also dismantled centuries-old social structures. The resultant void led to infighting, uncertainty, and disillusionment. Napoleon's vision for France went beyond mere pacification. He sought a cohesive society where citizens were not just bound by their revolutionary ideals but also by a shared vision for the future. He believed in France where the revolution's principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity were not just slogans, but the very bedrock of society. And to achieve this, he knew he needed more than just military might or political savvy. He needed to rebuild the nation's soul. And so, as first consul, Napoleon embarked on a mission that was as much about healing as it was about governance. His strategies, whether in reforming the legal system, revamping the administrative structure, or even fostering arts and culture, were all aimed at creating a holistic, unified, and forward-looking France. This was not just about ending the turmoil, it was about ensuring that France never descended into such chaos again. In the aftermath of the revolution, France was a complex jigsaw of fragmented powers. Multiple factions, each with its own agenda, competed for influence in a volatile political environment. For any leader, the task of unifying this disparate nation would seem Herculean. Yet, for Napoleon, it was a challenge he accepted with both tenacity and strategy. Central to Napoleon's reign as first consul was his unwavering pursuit of power consolidation. This wasn't just an autocratic ambition. Napoleon believed, perhaps rightly, that the fragmented state of French governance was a significant impediment to effective administration and progress. France needed a singular, guiding force to heal its wounds and propel it into the future. By centralizing authority, Napoleon began the arduous process of weaving together the nation's disjointed threads. His strategy encompassed multiple dimensions. Firstly, by pulling the reins of control closer, he was better positioned to oversee the implementation of policies. There were fewer bureaucratic layers, less red tape, and a significantly reduced risk of misinterpretation or misrepresentation of his directives. Secondly, centralization allowed for greater accountability. In the pre-Napoleon era, overlapping jurisdictions and responsibilities often meant that accountability was diffuse, leading to inefficiencies and corruption. Under Napoleon's watchful eye, roles were defined, responsibilities were clear, and there was a palpable sense of purpose in governance. However, consolidation was not just about administrative efficiency. For Napoleon, it was also about creating a political environment where transformative reforms could be conceptualized, debated, and implemented without getting mired in factional politics. Given the revolutionary backdrop, many of the reforms he envisioned were radical. But with a consolidated power structure, he could push boundaries and rapidly enact changes that would shape France's future. For the average citizen, this period of centralization brought both hope and apprehension. Hope, because they witnessed a rejuvenation of governance and the swift execution of projects that had previously been stuck in limbo. Anxiety, as the memory of an absolute monarchy was still fresh, and many feared that centralized power might slip into despotism. Yet, looking back, it's undeniable that Napoleon's consolidation of power played a pivotal role in shaping modern France. His ability to pull together the nation's divergent elements and create a cohesive, efficient machinery of governance paved the way for reforms that transformed France from a post-revolutionary state into a European powerhouse. In a nation freshly emerging from the throes of a tumultuous revolution, the need for a stable, just, and transparent legal framework was paramount. The French Revolution had raised centuries-old feudal traditions, bringing with it a promise of liberty, equality, and fraternity. Yet, the realization of these lofty ideals necessitated a structured legal foundation. Enter the Napoleonic Code, arguably Napoleon's most monumental contribution to both French and global history. At its core, the Code was a meticulous effort to distill and codify the egalitarian principles of the Revolution into actionable law. No longer would the whims of aristocratic privilege dictate justice; instead, the rule of law, consistent and impartial, would reign supreme. This legal codification was an exhaustive endeavor, aiming to provide clarity and consistency to a hitherto convoluted legal landscape. By abolishing the remnants of feudal privileges, Napoleon sought to level the playing field for all French citizens. The emphasis was on property rights, contractual freedom, and personal liberty, reflecting the socio-political zeitgeist of the era. Yet, the Napoleonic Code was not without its critics. While it advanced many progressive tenets, it also imposed certain constraints, particularly on individual freedoms like the freedom of the press. Critics argued that while the Code championed the principle of equality, it sometimes did so at the expense of personal liberties. However, one might argue that Napoleon believed that in a nation still vulnerable to internal and external threats, certain liberties needed to be curtailed to ensure stability and order. Beyond its immediate impact on France, the reverberations of the Napoleonic Code were felt far and wide. It became a touchstone for legal reform across continents, inspiring countries to reassess and overhaul their legal frameworks. From Europe to the Americas, and even parts of Asia and Africa, elements of the Napoleonic Code were adapted and integrated into local legal systems. Its influence is a testament to its forward-thinking design and its embodiment of universal principles of justice. In retrospect, while the Code is not without its imperfections, its historical significance is undeniable. It encapsulated the spirit of an age, translating revolutionary fervor into tangible legal doctrine, and in doing so, it laid the groundwork for modern legal systems worldwide. The Napoleonic Code stands as a testament to the indomitable will of a leader intent on reform and the enduring power of well-conceived legislation to shape the course of history. Napoleon's tenure as first consul was a time of profound transformation. His leadership brought stability, modernization, and a renewed sense of purpose to a nation that had lost its way. Though his ambitions eventually led him to the throne of the emperor, his years as first consul laid the foundation for a France reborn. The legacy of those years continues to resonate, a testament to the power of vision, reform, and the relentless pursuit of greatness. From the echoes of revolutionary anthems to the establishment of legal tenets that would reverberate worldwide, Napoleon's reign as first consul was nothing short of transformative. France, once on the brink of collapse, was reborn under his watchful gaze, setting the stage for an era of unparalleled growth and influence. As we look back, it's evident that these years were foundational, a prelude to an even grander chapter in the annals of history. Stay tuned, for in our next installment, we will dive into Chapter 2, uncovering more facets of this enigmatic leader's journey. If you've been captivated by this tale, don't forget to subscribe and engage with us in the comments below. Your insights and interactions enrich this narrative, and we can't wait to journey further with you into the annals of history. Until next time, keep the wheels of time turning.